Hello, everybody, and welcome to Haiku Talk. I'm your host, Ben Ga, your friendly neighborhood haiku poet, and today we're going to look at a piece from David J. Kelly in the latest issue of The Heron's Nest, with the first line of kerfuffle. With that said, you know what time it is. Time to sit back, relax, grab yourself a tasty beverage, and let's haiku. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be with you again for another episode of Haiku Talk. In this episode, we have a wonderful piece that is great for spring, and it is definitely springtime here in St. Louis. Wonderful things are blooming, birds are chirping, storms are storming. We got all the things happening here in springtime in the St. Louis area. Hopefully things are waking up wherever you are or going to sleep, depending on your hemisphere. Today we have a really fun one that just is a delight to read and perfect for springtime. Let's get right to it. The poem goes like this. Kerfuffle. The bird bath full of feathers. Kerfuffle. The bird bath full of feathers. Such a delight, such a delight. The poem does follow the fragment and phrase format, with the first line being the fragment of kerfuffle, and the phrase being the bird bath full of feathers. Now, again, with haiku and senryu, it's the construction of the poem really works around juxtapositions, and it's that juxtaposition of two things together that make the moment pop. And it's that tension between the two that makes things happen. And in this case, if you looked at just the first line of kerfuffle, and then, which is a great line by itself, we'll talk about that in a moment, and then you look at that phrase of the bird bath full of feathers, well, the bird bath full of feathers could have happened for a number of different reasons. But when it's paired and set up against kerfuffle, suddenly we have a moment that has happened, and we have something we experience, and it's very focused in this case, and gives us a real sense of energy and a real burst of live action. So let's take a look at the poem line by line and talk about how it works and why it holds together so well. First line, kerfuffle. Kerfuffle, with a nice long M dash. Now, I love poems that have one-word lines in them, and I also love words. And hopefully, I would imagine anybody watching this loves words as well. And kerfuffle is such a wonderful word. It's fun to say. It's fun to hear out loud. It is exactly what it is, it's like, it's a kerfuffle, and immediately I'm smiling when I see that word. Beautiful word choice. And we all as writers have, we especially in this short form, we have to choose our words carefully. And if you get to choose a fun word like kerfuffle, use it. I mean, it's 3 syllables, but man, it does a lot. I mean, it puts you in the state of something is happening. Kerfuffle, some sort of like stir up is happening. Somebody's fighting and arguing and blah, blah. There's something's been stirred up, and we don't know what it is, but it heightens our senses. It makes me intrigued to want to know what the kerfuffle is about. And I just want to say that word over and over and over again. Kerfuffle, kerfuffle, kerfuffle. It's just a great word. It's a wonderful first line. Now we go down to line 2, and now we get a little bit more information, but we're still not quite sure what the moment is. That line 2 is the bird bath. The bird bath. So again, very nicely balanced line, the bird bath. 3 words, each one syllable each. And then you got the B in bird and the B in bath, which is nice. The, and it starts with a TH and ends with a TH, nicely balanced. And it gives us a little bit more information. So we has a kerfuffle, and now we're focusing on a bird bath. So again, that uses suggestive language in our 3 S's of haiku, simple, succinct, and suggestive. It suggests that this is an outdoor event. Generally, you don't have bird baths inside. And so we're outside, you heard a kerfuffle, we're going to the bird bath. It takes us to line 3 to complete the moment. Line 3 is full of feathers. Full of feathers. Again, a really nice line. We got the F in full, the F in feathers. We got 2 syllables, 2 words, 1 syllable each, leading to that 2-syllable last word, full of feathers. And it's got a nice roll, feathers, where you end on a kind of a downbeat into the plural S. Very nice. Very, very nice. And now we have the scene, or we have the what remains of the scene. Because for me, and everyone can interpret this differently, but for me, what happens in this moment, I hear a kerfuffle, I go out to the bird bath, and everything's gone. All the birds are gone, but it's left full of bird feathers. So I know some birds got into it in the bird bath, fighting and being territorial and whatnot. And I love that it doesn't tell me what the feathers are, what type of birds there are, because I can imagine it myself. I'm thinking maybe a blue jay got in there stirring some stuff up with who knows what other kind of little birds. But just the remnants of the kerfuffle. So we hear it, there's the call to action, the call to investigate, and we see the aftermath, and we're left with that. What's nice too is that it doesn't sound like that it was like, nobody was injured. Nobody was, nobody lost their lives over this kerfuffle. It was just a mix-up, a dust-up, a fight between birds. Because there was no, like a dead bird. There was nothing, no carnage. It's just the feathers that were left in the bird bath. The bird bath's full of feathers. And that's great. And again, with the full and feathers, the FF, reflecting back to that first line of kerfuffle. You got 2 F's in that first word, and then you got 2 F's in the last line. Just really nice sonically how that all works together, how it all balances. And I also like how the poem does kind of start short, and start small, and builds a little bit out. So that second line is the second shortest line, and the third line is the longest line. So as we hear the noise and we start to investigate, we end on the wide shot of the longest line at the end. So it's like we get more information as the poem builds, and it's just a really nicely constructed piece. So all of those elements put together, balanced so nicely, make this short piece just an exquisitely delightful piece to encounter. Perfect for spring. It was all the birds are returning. Everything's out and about. And everyone's a little bit crazy and frenzying because, it's spring. Stuff's happening in nature in spring. So, wonderful piece. Thank you, David Kelly. Thank you for writing such a wonderful piece. Thanks, Heron's Nest, for putting that in your latest issue. And thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Haiku Talk. Until next time, peace, everybody. Do like and subscribe if you haven't done those things already. And stay tuned for the next one. Peace, everybody.